Welcome everybody. So, this video's been long overdue. So we're gonna do this, and yeah, we're gonna go over relationships, and we are going to go over twin ray, twin flame, and twin soul, because there is a lot of confusion out there, and I've been getting the guidance to do this so loud today. So we're going to go into this. And I'm speaking to you from having the experience of having met my twin soul, my twin flame, and now meeting my twin ray. And this is all in the context of Akashic Enlightenment. This means we are looking at the Akashic Records, where we can look at soul contracts, as well as looking at the Book of Truth, which is the ascension or the enlightenment portion of what these connections and contracts are, the purpose of them. All of it, of course, is leading us back to our divine blueprint, our highest ascended self being, coming back into that true state of joy. And of Course in Miracles, they call it, living the dream, right? The happy dream, coming into this ascended consciousness, this pure joy. So when it comes to relationships, this is where we do a lot of our growth work. All right. So let's start out with, understanding these relationships. All right. So to begin with, we have contracts with people. And these can be seen when you do an Akashic Record reading. The level at which you see these contracts is going to depend on your ascended consciousness, right? If you have areas that you are blocked, then you may not be able to see certain parts of contracts, okay? So it's really important for those that are doing the readings and looking at things that they have done a lot of work on themselves so that we're not creating more blocks. I do consider myself someone who's done a lot of work. I try to hold a very high integrity with all the work that I have done. Been through lots of healing work and have been working in Akashic Enlightenment for, God, has it been like 7 years now? Right? So let's start off with the contracts overall. Basically, if you have a contract with a soul, this is telling you what is the purpose of this relationship. What is the highest point? This could be going to school together, having that experience together. It could be a job or a project that you have together. It could be a marriage that you are supposed to have together. It could be, creating certain things, right? Like certain, some high eco-friendly car, high evolved car, or maybe you're supposed to join with a person and write a book or create a movie, right? That's going to change how humanity sees something, right? So there's a lot of things that come through, and there's usually a resonance behind those things that people can tap into, and that means that people are following either that creative impulse to, they're following something that is coming through and you can feel it, right? So the same thing with the relationships. There's something that is coming through in these aligned relationships, and there's something that you are being guided to follow, a purpose, okay? Now the tricky part is where is each soul in terms of being aware of what that purpose is, number one. Number two, where is their personal awareness with their own consciousness, right? In terms of presence, awareness of their own, you could say, emotional patterns, their own unconscious patterns, right? So karmic patterns, things from childhood, most likely in this lifetime, and then even getting into past lives and other dimensional lives. So, all of that creates a lot of layers of how are we connecting to somebody. So let's say, you have this really powerful connection with someone and you feel like, oh, I know this person from somewhere. That's immediately you're into soul family. Now, the level at which that starts to come in is going to more or less show you the level of the relationship. the level of the relationship in this lifetime as well as other lifetimes, because there can be a sense of, wow, we've done this so many times before, and now we're being asked to do this, or there may be a little bit of recognition. And, the general soul family and the general soul mates. So a soul mate can actually be, a friend, family, coworker, peers. It just means someone that's in your soul family, right? You have a soul connection to them. And then within the mates relationship, there can be like lovers, there can be a marriage relationship, there can be a partnership. There's just lots of different ways to do that contract. And, it's something that you agreed to when you came here. But again, it depends on the consciousness of the person in order to do it. And this is the biggest piece, because a lot of people get into the, what about like codependent relationships and twin flames? And this is such a big topic, right? And to make it really simple, because I like to make things really simple that seem complex, basically it matters on where is the soul resonance between the two of you. What is the frequency between the two of you? How does that align in order to work out whatever needs to be worked out? Because that frequency, that soul connection needs to be strong enough to go through what needs to be transcended. For the highest purpose is awakening, right? Pure merging with one's light. And that's the twin ray, right? Two rays of light coming together to fully merge into one unified light field, right? So you could say that's the highest relationship that you can experience here, right? And before that comes the twin flame. The twin flame, usually one is creating an awakening for the other, okay? And that usually comes before the twin ray. And sometimes you are not contracted to go to full twin ray, and you may meet your twin flame. One of you will have an awakening, and you'll have an awakening through awakening them, right? And just through meeting your twin flame, and you may be able to stabilize it, and you may not. And that is going to depend on what the exact contract is with that twin ray. What are you meant to do? Twin flame in this incarnation at this present time. What are you being asked to do, right? And so coming back around to codependent relationships, that means that it's a karmic connection. And this means that both of you are fully wrapped up and caught in this loop of cycles of both are kind of feeding into not really going anywhere. One feels like, they're going to give themselves up to this relationship, and the other one maybe is wanting to take everything from the relationship, and nobody's conscious that they are doing that. That is a traditional karmic codependent relationship. So now if you take that and compare it to twin flame, there is an awareness from at least one, if not both, at some point that something is being processed, right? And then in the twin ray, there is a sense of both are aware, both are awake, and there's a little bit of purging that'll take place, and then there is a sense of coming into the higher purpose, which is then allowing others to template from this unified relationship, because so many are in these deep karmic wounded relationships. There's nothing to template off of. There is a misunderstanding of the purpose of relationship, and so both of them then move into being this template, teaching this template through their resonance and possibly through teaching as well. All right, and so in A Course in Miracles, because I did study A Course in Miracles, and I actually talk about all this stuff with David Hoffmeister. He's a great spiritual teacher, very enlightened man, and knows a lot about spirituality, spiritual relationships, and ascended consciousness, coming all the way back into that full ascended template, merging with the light, becoming that being again. And in the Course, they talk about, there's a sense of a calling or a destiny with somebody. And this is what they call, a lifetime partnership of growth. Okay? And this is where both souls are aligned and they are aware to the point that they are not letting the pain, the suffering, the karma control the relationship. They're both observing it, able to observe it, and are working on stepping out of it. So not allowing it to control the relationship, right? And, that may sound like the ideal for most people, that you don't want to do that. But things can get pretty muddied up and confused once you're in the heart of it, and if you're not checking in, having a regular practice, right? So it's really important to have some sort of practice that you can look at. I use Akashic Enlightenment. I teach Akashic Enlightenment. It's a great tool. Use it. It's $13 for the book. Maybe it's $12. It's $12 for the book. So get the Akashic Enlightenment prayer and just use that if you don't have a tool. Or you can sign up for a reading, to understand what the contract is between you and this person and what it is you're really working on, right? To make sure that you are in a correctly aligned soul contract with somebody. You're not in some old contract from another lifetime. That can also happen, right? And you're not in a karmic situation, right? So a lot of people can feel really drawn to each other from a place of karma or pain. Eckhart Tolle talks about this as your pain bodies match, right? So you're coming together from a place of pain, right? And then you're kind of stuck in this cycle of like constantly triggering each other and trying to sort things out. And that can be a lot, that's just a lot of work, right? Because there is not that solid baseline to really pull you out of those repeating karmic cycles over and over again. And, that can become just painful, volatile, right? There's a lot of energy that is used in that situation. All right, so I hope that portion covers, understanding contracts, connections, general relationships. Okay, and so now we're going to talk about these ascended relationships, right? So, A Course in Miracles has their one view, and I'm doing this for the majority who use the terms twin flame, twin soul, twin ray, and they are all different. And I would not have been able to tell you that probably 5 years ago. So there's just been a lot that has occurred that I have really understood what these are. Because when I meet new people, I do a reading to see what my soul contract is with them, the purpose of the relationship. And when you do the reading over and over and again, and you're getting the same understanding and feedback, that's how you really know what the alignment is. So at this present time that I am doing this video for you, I have not only met my twin ray, but I have also, we've started to join, right? And so I'll start with that, and that we met in 2019 at the Course in Miracles Monastery in Mexico. So that right there is already a pretty big giveaway, right? You're going to a very high consciousness place and you're meeting somebody in that resonance. And there is and there was an immediate recognition, and there was also, a lot of energy kind of forming as the connection was taking place. And there's just a deep sense of, I really know this person. And there's a sense of them being some, long lost marriage partner, right? There's a sense of, wow, I've been married to you forever, right? Are you my wife? Are you my husband? What's going on here? Why does that feel like that? We just met. Why does it feel like an eternity of marriage is already there? And it's a lot when you first meet that. And For our situation, there was we were both in relationships already at the time of meeting, and so uh, my relationship ended relatively shortly after meeting and coming back home and starting to process what was happening. I had a spontaneous, what felt like a Kundalini activation. And I didn't recognize what happened then, but since joining or, coming more together with my twin ray now, there is an understanding of the unification, the soul unification that happens between twin rays. There is a meeting in the higher realms, the astral realms, and where the chakras are, we clear each other's chakras to allow more light to be held in each of the chakras. And this means that any pain that needs to be transcended that's left from all of the other relationships. So you've already met your twin flame by then, you've already met your twin soul by then, and you've already met multiple soulmates, right? And so it's like, okay, what's left? What's left to clear? And that cycles in very quickly, very deeply, to a point that, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? This is happening at a very accelerated rate. And it's just because the frequencies are so high. And so the soul unification starts to occur where the souls are basically just ultimately trying to merge again into this unified light. And so there's a process of continuing to connect in the higher realms to clear out each chakra that is out of alignment, that does not have enough light. The light is what is clearing all the denser energy fields. And so I'm not sure if this happens for every twin ray, but ours is just more or less spontaneous. And I am the one who is actually aware that is happening. And on his side, I've noticed that there is a sense of a shift in the behavior after it happens. And there's also a lot happening in the dream world as well. So it's this sense of it doesn't matter what realm or dimension we're in, there is connection happening more or less all the time, especially ever since meeting. So it's like our lives kind of unwound after we met, setting up and staging everything so that we can, ultimately come together and do what we came here to do, which is to, transcend the polarities of masculine and feminine in the human incarnation, and then, help others to template from this. And so the soul unification continues to happen, and it is a very intense experience. I wasn't really sure what was happening. The first time it happened was after just talking on the phone. I felt like I was having a hypoglycemic crash. I got really shaky and trembly, which, that can happen with the Kundalini rising, or with the Kundalini rising, as well as it's the chakras, the energy fields are opening. And I ate some food, did some energy healing, and then I realized, okay, this is from our connection. There's something powerful that is transpiring here. And it can come on really strong at certain times. It's even happened while I'm driving, which I found to be quite profound. So it does more or less have a mind of its own. But it does tend to luckily happen at times when I am just, alone. But then our souls want to connect because there's something that needs to be cleared. There's something that needs to be healed. And the connection is making sure that that is going to happen. And so through that process, there is just this ecstatic bliss as the light comes in. It's just like you're just so high. It's almost like an orgasmic bliss. They talk about, when you have a Kundalini experience, it can feel orgasmic, just all the energy that is coming through, right? And so it somewhat feels like that. It's just so intense and such a high frequency. The physical body doesn't really know how to relate to that level of ecstatic frequency, right? And so it is very intense. And today I actually had it to the level of almost passing out again, because the energy it comes in waves through the body. And it usually gets so intense when there is a larger healing, or also I'm noticing a resistance to the connection by one of the partners, whether it's myself or him. Then the merging will happen in order to heal what is being resisted, whatever that is. And there can be a cleansing through the other person. So more or less, I could be crying or releasing the pain of his pain, right? Through opening the energy fields, right? And ultimately, once the chakra is cleared during that unification moment, right? And these can last. I noticed at first it was like all night when we first started talking. I woke up and I was in the morning. I was like, wow, like it was clear that something had been happening all night, right? And so, but you feel actually really good afterwards. Maybe a little tired, but good, and or light, I should say. Light in frequency because so much has been cleared, and so. So the process is happening spontaneously. There can be shaking, there can be trembling, a lot of emotions can come through. There is the ecstatic bliss. It is my understanding, I found a couple writings online. This is very rare information. I've been having a lot of trouble finding clear information about this. And I will read the Akashic Enlightenment channeling because I did ask, why was the spontaneous unification happening? I've never experienced that before. What is that? And that's when the twin ray term was used. And that really grabbed me because in 2021, I met my twin flame, right? And I've asked about other relationships if someone was my twin flame, and it just is always like, no, that's not it. It's just, an intense connection. You know each other. So there's a lot of easy mistaking twin flames. And then twin ray and twin flame are not the same thing. Definitely not the same thing. It's a whole different caliber, the level that twin ray is at from twin flame in terms of the amount of awareness, the consciousness that is there and the energy connection that is occurring is on a whole other level of frequency. Yeah, I'd say it's like a higher frequency, okay, because more has already taken place in the clearing out that you've finally met this twin ray. And there is a sense of coming to this point of there's no one else to meet. There is nobody else to meet in this world. I have met so many people. I'm at the end of relationship. I'm at the end of meeting people. Right? And I'm not talking from a sense of quitting, of, I've had such bad, relationships. I don't want to do this anymore. There's a sense of just, oh, okay. It's like you're wondering, is there really someone who actually truly fully, completely sees the true me, and the true me being this soul light, this true soul being that you are, right? And I know Eckhart also talks about this in terms of a spiritual or conscious relationship, right? It's like the light in me sees the light in you, okay? And, he'll call that a conscious relationship, which actually I was taking one of his courses, and that brought in the twin ray into my life, into us actually connecting and talking rather than just, we met, but now we started moving forward since I did the Eckhart class and he was talking about conscious relationships. So, and I was drawn to the class, so it was more or less like I was following an energy. And also before this, I was called down to Encinitas, to the self-realization temple of Yogananda. It's the Golden Lotus Temple, and it's on a very powerful vortex in Encinitas. And this vortex connects to Joshua Tree and then Sedona, and it does go into the ocean. And I've been taken to a place called the City of Light, where Babaji, and Babaji is an ascended being who actually is who ascended Master Jesus, or Jesus before ascending, learned from, right? So he also ultimately learned from Babaji. So connecting with Babaji in December, I was called, and this calling was so loud, I absolutely could not ignore it. It was like, it felt like life or death. And I don't get callings on that level. So I made the trip down there. There was a ton of synchronicities. I'd been waiting since 2020. I knew I was supposed to go to San Diego area. I just didn't know where. And then in December 2021, it hit home. I was prepared. I had already been more or less planning a trip down there, just waiting for the details to come in. Went down, had a very powerful connection. You could say, some of the Kundalini started awakening then. When I got home, I had a lot of ascension symptoms, coming into a lot of new high frequencies. Once I talked to my twin Ray, I guess it was maybe 3 months later, right? So he realized that he was also feeling a lot of energy that had started then. So we were both becoming activated from me going down there and connecting with the energy. So the distance didn't matter. It didn't matter that we weren't talking. Everything was already set in motion. And then once we started talking, then the soul unification started to spontaneously occur to clear out the energy that needs to be cleared out so that we can ultimately join together in our higher purpose together. So I'm going to now read to you the transmission that occurred with finding out about Twin Ray. All right. And so, there's the other part here was that, I had a lot of signs of a, large destiny or a calling coming. And 4 days before he called me. And so, there's just so many events that are lining up for this, that there is a strong realization once it does start of, oh yeah, something is happening here. And it can be hard to understand, which is why I'm doing this video. Okay. So with that, we were both starting to experience that there was a large, overpowering, ominous feeling that something big was happening, something was coming, to the point that it's almost like stressful, right? Of like, almost like the end of the world type of a feeling. It's that large. It just felt on a very massive scale. Okay. And this is where the energy of the two of us coming together is starting to merge, right? It's starting to create, you could say, a new reality from the light energy exchange that is occurring, and the purpose begins to come forward. And he has already felt called to be, a spiritual teacher and to be speaking, and has already had some writings that he's done. He just hasn't released it. And I have writings that I already released, and I've also been teaching. So there is an alignment already in what we both have felt called to do. And so now the energy, this ominous feeling is, well, now Spirit, the divine, is going to take those callings and merge them into a unified calling for the collective, right? So the ultimate purpose is the collective, but that ominous feeling is the energy shifting that's taking place. It is very, very intense, somewhat unpleasant, and difficult, and it's actually been more difficult for him. It's maybe more difficult for one than the other with the calibration, or maybe my sense is maybe he's going to go first and then I'm going to go next, right? So not both at the same time, so that there can be, somewhat of a stabilization amidst that. But there's a sense of removing all the blocks, right? And that's what's occurring. And the ominous feeling, it does get louder at sometimes, like an action needs to be taken, or if we're starting to pull away and something big needs to be transformed. The shaking energy comes in, and then the spontaneous unification happens. And again, it can be to the level of that I almost passed out. And that just may mean, also it was early in the morning. I hadn't had breakfast yet. Maybe I just didn't have enough energy to handle all the energy that was starting to come through. And the other one happened, before bed. So both times are when your brainwave state is also going into a deeper state. But the ones while I was driving were not to the point of passing out. I think they know better. Whoever's watching us knows better than to do that. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and read you this reading about Twin Ray. Okay. So I was actually starting off with asking, why the spontaneous soul unification? And they're saying it is meant to be this way as to accelerate your awareness of the other. This is so that you can see that the true union is there on its own, regardless of joining in the physical. The true union just is. It is spontaneous. So you become aware of this together, that you two are just unified beyond your physical forms, because it is what is meant to be. True union is when two souls agree to truly wake each other up to true selves as the spiritual beings they actually are. Physical thus comes after spiritual. So it is a true union. It's not karmic based, but based in true spiritual alignment. So you can move to deeper trust. So you move to the deeper work you are actually joined for, and not caught up in the physical material level illusions of attachment that many have, that block true spiritual realization of being with another. This is your path together, this true spiritual realization of your union together and all of its expansiveness, and how this then affects everyone around you. You will then mirror this true union to everyone else you encounter. It brings the end of false joining or karmic joining many participate in to learn lessons. Your union is true and pure of purpose, thus holds great power of its own, first teaching both of you, then teaching others. And I was asking to understand more of the spontaneous effects, or why it's spontaneous. It serves as a marker between souls who have agreed to join in greater spiritual mission in life. They join because they know they have this agreement with each other, and it marks the beginning of their path together as twin ray souls. And I ask, well, what is that? Two souls who hold mirror rays of light so they can truly reflect to the other and help each other grow in their spiritual union together from a place of life unconditional love. This love is what powers or fuels this union. This love is their teacher for spiritual growth and reunion with each of their true beings of light within. This is a lifetime journey of committed growth and beingness together that then will teach others how to do the same. It is a spiritual right many souls work towards being able to do together, for it takes many a lifetime and soul experience to reach this level, to this twin ray work together. Twin ray was created to help humanity come to a new full self-realization through pairing twin rays of light field energy for them to balance and harmonize their own imbalance of masculine and feminine and identities in the body, and not the spirit soul light. Through rebalancing the spiritual soul light, or Ka, back to its unified form, will one soul, or the many that encounter this union, become unified within themselves. This unioned pair of two-ray souls are unified before they even come to earth, and vow to find each other on the earth plane when it is time for their lifetime earthly mission together. There is an initial activation at meeting that then shifts all other life events to bring them to union, so they may do what they are here to do, or just be who they truly are. Twin rays of light, mirroring so that all that is false may fall away, leaving only pure light, that of you truly only are. You are the one true light. There is no other or anything else. In this twin ray reunion delights upon a pure reconnection back to this unified light for all the world to see and celebrate in. It is a joyous union of great power that will change everything it encounters, especially once in its completely unified state. And I asked, how does that come? I say, with practice of release to what is, surrender, to that you two are but a unified light field. Be that unified light field, let it shine so others may shine. Build a temple or space to send this light out from. Speak and share from this unified light you two joined share. There is no other true union but this. So that is the Akashic reading. And then I guess I was just kind of writing some notes on things that were happening, but others, some like traits or abilities. There is, of course, telepathic communication. There is a sense of sitting and you know what the other is thinking, but far beyond a human pace of thought to absolute direct knowing. So it's like you know what's going on without them even really fully saying it or speaking it. Once you start opening and surrendering and releasing to this as they're talking about, there's also the ability to instantly heal the other with touch or just the sound of the voice to the other. I experienced some instant healings of physical pain in dream state, coming like when I would wake up in the morning. There was a sense that, something that had been hurting was healed, okay? There's a sense of absolute, pure, unconditional love, and a sense of patience with them, because you know that you're aligned on this higher destined path. There's just this sense of something is there that is greater than the both of you or anything that you may be experiencing. There's again that ominous feeling or something big existing, and then something big existing between the two of you. There's also, as I said, connection on all dimensional planes. So it's the dream world, the waking world, the astral planes. In Chinese medicine, we call it the Hun, the spirit of the liver, is what travels astrally. So our Hun spirits are actively playing together, joining, right? So we can visit each other often, anytime that's needed to. There's a sense of love with no agenda except for what the divine is asking of you, right? That's a huge aspect. There's no attachment of that love, it's just unconditional. And there's also, of course, the Ascended Masters are stepping in directly and immediately when direction is needed, and both souls knowing this is truth without any attachment or defensiveness. There's a sense of, the guidance is coming in directly from the Ascended Masters for one or both of you at certain times when it is needed. Okay, so I think that's completing, what I was saying. But basically, once you understand twin ray, so now just turn the dial down on that to go to twin flame and then to twin soul. Okay, and you could say everything gets bigger and louder, and I didn't have any of the unification going on with the twin flame. There was just a pulling in the gut to connect, and then I was told that it was twin flame, and in that sense, I was the one who was awakening the other, and just witnessing this soul going through, purging a lot of pain, and then, running and ending the whole thing. So, and then, a year later, now meeting twin ray. So, if you are meant to meet your twin ray, then it will come after meeting your twin flame, your true twin flame, not a mistaken twin flame. And the twin soul is a sense of, there's just a lot of energy connection that happens, and a sense of an assignment that comes in. But I also experienced a dissolve similar to the twin flame. And I'm going to say that that is because I meant to meet the twin ray in this lifetime. So if you're not meant to meet or go to twin ray level in this incarnation, then maybe you stay with your twin soulmate, your twin soul, or your twin flame. Okay, so it really depends on the what you are aligned for in this lifetime in terms of what level of relationship you are working towards and how you are working on your ascension process, right? Because as you work on your ascension process, you can shift in this lifetime what level of relationship you are working on. I believe that you can do that with the twin ray. I wouldn't, you can't quote me on that. Okay, I wouldn't say that that's for certain, but my sense is that the twin rays are becoming activated as ascension is increasing. There is a greater need for more twin rays to be here. The light frequencies are increasing so much on Earth that many are becoming activated because that's what we need. We need those templates. So I hope that this video is helpful for you. I hope all this information is helpful. If you are experiencing anything, of this, everybody go ahead and, you can share your experiences below with each other. If you need a reading to understand your relationship, you can contact me or just book a session directly on my website. That is, that's best. And, yeah, I think that's completing it. And it's an exciting journey. It is a wild journey. I've never been through anything on this level before, so I'm really excited to share with you how it all unfolds here on this material world of evolution into New Earth. So, all right. So sending you all so much love and light. I hope that you're enjoying your journey. And I look forward to connecting with you in an online event or reading, or that this video helped you on your path. All right, So, bye for now.